What's up, guys? It's Jonathan with One Big Impact. So first of all, if you're new here, welcome to One Big Impact. I appreciate you guys coming. Second of all, drink your damn water. I don't care if it's got BCAAs in it or it doesn't or whatever. Drink it and make sure you stay hydrated. So today's video is actually something that it's not necessarily that it's a hot topic, but it's definitely a highly debated topic. So a lot of people are going to constantly ask the question, how long should I exercise? Is too much exercise bad for me? Should I be exercising more? Am I not exercising enough? What exactly is the good general rule of thumb? So I dove into some studies, specifically about 3 or 4, and I will put the links in the description below. One of which I found the most relevant is the first one that we're going to get started. So go ahead and get a pen and paper, write some information down, and get your computer clicking abilities ready, and let's get going. A gentleman named Herman, let me get this correct, Pontzer, I believe. He is a professor of anthropology at the City University of New York, did a study. Basically, he went to a tribe where there's hunter-gatherers and worked with doing some different studies as far as like caloric intakes, caloric expenditures, because obviously if you're a hunter-gatherer, they're going to have a ton more energy expelled throughout the day. Now, here's the thing. Basically, and I'm going to put the links in the description below because I personally found the study pretty interesting, and the reason for that is because we are always under the impression if we work harder and do more exercise that we will somehow burn more calories and end up in a bigger caloric deficit. The whole thing, you can't outrun a bad diet, comes into play here. So basically what he found after doing the study and following around the hunter-gatherer group in whatever country they were going in, the hunter-gatherers were far more active. They were actually hunting their prey, and I think it was something like 7 to 15 miles a day versus a Western sedentary individual that was just exercising, 30 minutes here and there and stuff like that, ended up expelling the same amount of calories, using the same amount of calories. And funny enough, in the story or in the study, when you read through it, the individuals, specifically Herman, was actually thinking and ready for the results to come back with like, oh my gosh, these guys have got to be expelling 10,000 calories a day or something astronomical, because and we've, since the beginning of time, we've always thought, well, we are not losing weight or we are gaining weight naturally just because we are more sedentary. And that's actually not the case. This study proves that it has nothing to do with our sedentary lifestyle. It has to do with the idea of gluttony or the idea of overeating. So obesity is pretty much well proven. Yes, although you can get health benefits and everything, like I've said before, through exercise, but the actual issue is calories in versus calories out. So if you're consuming bad foods, you're not consuming whole foods. And it may not be, necessarily, a lot of people will say, well, I'm in my calorie range. I'm not over on my calories. Okay, well, what types of foods are you eating? Are you eating with something with 55 ingredients, or are you eating something like the hunter-gatherers are? Are you eating a solid protein, a vegetable, a healthy fat, and then calling it good? Or are you saying, these foods are in my calorie range, but they are made in space? You know what I mean? So please think about the quality of foods rather than necessarily trying to get crazy on the quantity of foods. We understand it's easy to put our calorie count into a calorie calculator or a macro calculator or something that pumps out a number, but you have to be getting those foods through quality actual meals and stuff like that. Because if you're not getting proper fiber intake, you're not getting proper hormone production, if you're not getting proper protein synthesis, your body's not operating at an optimum level. Therefore, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. I could almost guarantee, come live with each and every single one of you that is having a massive problem with actually getting changes to happen with your body, and I could probably identify it really easily. And you could too if you get outside of your mind and just look at what's happening with a realistic perspective. This study and the studies that I'm going to link in the description below are just tiny little stepping stones. But what you have to realize is diet is the main focus. What you are consuming is the main focus. If you're only going to expel a 200 calorie difference from somebody that's extremely active, it's kind of like a no-brainer, right? Okay, so the most highly debated thing is the more energy I burn or the more exercise I do, the more I'm going to lose, right, Jonathan or whoever? So people are under the impression if they do a ton of exercise, they can basically outrun a bad diet. And we all know that's not true. If you eat tacos 24/7, you're going to end up looking like a taco. That's just how it is. So don't think that just the more exercise you do because that your body, you're going to end up getting in shape, because that's just not how it works. Now this study, I'm going to pop this on the screen real quick. This study actually published in the Journal of Current Biology may provide some clues. Researchers found that people who engaged in moderate levels of physical activity, meaning about 30 to 45 minutes a day, 3 to 5 days a week, burned about 200 more calories per day than those who had the lowest levels of physical activity. However, strikingly, the people who were the most physically active burned on average the same number of calories as those who were moderately active. This may be because the body adapts to higher levels of activity. Study author Herman Pontzer, an associate professor of anthropology at the University of New York, told Live Science in January, exercising a lot may actually prompt the body to make adjustments to adapt and actually keep its energy expenditure at the same level as it does when exercising less, the researchers concluded. Now I'm going to put the whole study in the description below. Okay, it's only about as far as in the journal, what was written in the journal is only about 2 or 3 pages, so it's not an extremely long thing to read or anything necessarily. It really is simple math. Think about it. The only difference between the hunter-gatherer group they did the study on, as far as finding out what they expel or burn or use up for calories, being as their diet and their calorie expenditure is the exact same as a Western expenditure, the only variable that we have that we can possibly manipulate is going to be food. They're getting their food from sources as soon as they possibly can. They're not able to drive through a McDonald's. They're not able to take a couple extra portions, and if they do, it's sparingly. So the only thing that's being manipulated is our ability to overeat. Okay, so if calories versus calories, and I mean, it was a really big study and it was extremely expensive, so I believe it's 100% accurate, okay? And you can go and dive into the research yourself. But that being said, the only difference, it's a no-brainer, is calories versus calories. They are maybe not eating the exact same foods that we are as far as quantities and stuff, but they're burning the exact same thing, and we are eating probably more and burning the exact same thing. So the idea is to get closer maybe to what they're eating as far as amount or quantity of food, because it's kind of like this if you think about it on the other spectrum. Somebody that's doing bodybuilding, right? If somebody that's doing bodybuilding wanted to get bigger, would they exercise more? Maybe, but you can't just say, I'm going to eat the same amount of food and I'm going to exercise 8 hours a day and I'm going to get huge. It doesn't happen like that. You have to eat in way excess of what you're normally supposed to do and then train on top of that. But the training honestly stays roughly around that 1 to 2 hour range. It's not really much more than that. And some people train insane and train crazy, and maybe they're using performance enhancing drugs and stuff like that. But for the most part, I've put on a fair amount of muscle over the last couple years, and I will say my lifting strategy has been 45 minutes to an hour pretty consecutively. So please focus on what you're putting in your mouth, not what you're doing in the gym. And please don't spend hours in the gym. Don't spend, if you're competitive, you're probably not watching this video and that maybe doesn't apply for you. But if you're going in the gym and you're spending 2-3 hours a day and you're not getting results, back off a little bit and focus on what you're consuming, because that's probably where the real issue is. Here's basically what happens. Your body is a machine that is happy to exercise, it's happy to burn calories and everything like that. But say one day you end up going just balls out and you go crazy in the gym. Instead of doing an hour session, you do it a 2.5 hour session. Okay, so that's cool. You did more there. But throughout your day, you're naturally going to be more, quote, lazy or relaxed, or your body is going to find ways to sit down throughout the day. It's going to find ways to, it's going to have less inflammation, so it's going to have to burn less of that. There was even things that in the study where they noticed in animals and things like that, that they had less ovulation cycles. They had their bodies were running more efficiently, therefore needing less calories to actually run. So if you're going all out crazy, that's fine, I guess, but it's probably pointless, okay? So I would say that sweet spot is going to be about 30 to 45 minutes if you're looking for the answer really quick. But that being said, there's exercise addicts, people that are addicted to exercise. There's people that are trying to get tons of fat loss from more exercise. It doesn't actually work like that, because you're releasing more cortisol, more stress hormone, the fight or flight hormone, and your body's saying, hey, whoa, I can't handle this. We don't really know what to do. Lock the body down. Don't get rid of anything. So you're actually inhibiting your fat loss abilities rather than extending them. Now, if you're watching this and you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm working out too much, it's probably not the case, okay? But if you're working out for 2-3 hours, 4 hours a day or something like that, and that's a very real possibility, okay? You're actually becoming quite counterproductive. Back it off. 30 to 45 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week is usually perfectly fine. Now, I know some people get a little bit, if you're going into competitive bodybuilding and stuff like that, maybe you train more. If you're a power lifter, maybe you train more or something like that. But for the general population, 30 to 45 minutes, and I got it written down here, comes out to 150 minutes a week of moderate, 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Now, if you're going to do vigorous exercise, you wouldn't do vigorous exercise for that amount of time. It would only be about 75 minutes. Now, the important thing that you remember is a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't want to do, 2-3 hours of exercise a week. And that's fine. First of all, we have health benefits that are going to be increased dramatically. High blood pressure is going to be reduced. Type 2 diabetes is going to be reduced. Your risk of cancer, your risk of colon cancer, breast cancer, all of that stuff is going to be reduced. Okay, so you're just 30 minutes a week is going to reduce your risk of getting depression by 25%. Okay, so exercise should never be looked at as if we are going too far, but your body will adapt at a certain point. 30 to 45 minutes a day is probably sufficient. Don't go crazy. There's no reason to. Okay, if you're trying to achieve something and you're training for something like training for a marathon or training for something like that, that's fine. And to put the information at rest, a lot of people say, well, marathon runners are extremely unhealthy. Triathlon runners are extremely unhealthy. There's a lot of studies that I was reading today actually that prove that false. Now, there's not any necessarily added benefits to something like that, but there's not any added risks to anything like that. As far as, of course, you could potentially injure yourself because you are exercising more. It's just like somebody that drives a car as a job is more likely or could be more likely to get an accident rather than somebody that drives once a week. You're just doing it more, so there's more of a possibility. That being said, I want you guys to really focus on getting your exercise each day. Just going from sedentary doing nothing to doing something, even 30 minutes a week, can increase your lifespan and your health by up to 14%. So don't get overwhelmed with the whole aspect of I gotta eat, I gotta get absolutely every single day, or I'm just gonna do nothing at all. Do something, because something is going to benefit you guys. I hope this information helped you. I promise I will put the links in the description below. I've already made the document so that I didn't forget. If you guys have any other questions, something that I didn't cover, please put them in the comment section below. You guys keep up the good work. This is a challenge video. If you're new here, please check us out on Facebook. Our group is called Healthy Living for a Healthy Life, as well as our website is onebigimpact.com. If you need meal plans, please hit me up. It's no big deal. Also on Instagram at onebigimpact. And you guys have a beautiful day. Be stronger than excuses, and remember to spread love, not hate, and get out there and get active and drink your damn water. Peace.